But yeah, I've been spending a lot of my time recently playing Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia, which came out a while ago. I don't know, maybe like a month past. Let me look at the date. In the U.S., okay, so it's been out for a while. It eventually got its worldwide release back in May 20th, so it's been maybe 2-3 weeks now. Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks. What do I have to say about the game? I have, at this point in time, I've officially completed the game on normal, which probably makes me sound like a casual player, but that's not exactly the case. I did play it on normal, which is unusual for me actually, is because I heard Fire Emblem was blending with dungeon crawling elements, and that immediately gave me flashbacks of Persona series, which I still have yet to complete because it's so goddamn hard. Where if you do anything wrong, all your fucking progress is gone. I think I'm still stuck like halfway through the game because it's just that difficult. It doesn't. There's no sympathy from that game. But yeah, I finally did officially complete the game on the normal difficulty, which is in that game at least the easiest, with relatively no difficulty. The game, especially for a Fire Emblem game, is pretty easy. It didn't put up much of a fight, I suppose, and to my surprise, the dungeon parts of the game, which is not a huge part. I wouldn't say it's minuscule, but it's not the biggest part of the game. As those sections are relatively easy. There's not a lot of challenge that comes with them. And on top of that, you actually have this really nice feature, which I know people are complaining a little bit about. But the turn wheel, Milla's turn wheel, which lets you reset rounds of combat. So enemy takes a turn, you take a turn, you can just reset it back. But the nice thing, the really, really almost broken thing about it is you can reset individual actions. So if you got a lucky critical, you can just turn right before you or right after you had the critical attack and then keep that, which is extremely powerful, especially because you get per map or per dungeon crawl, you get up to like 9. I think it was the most I had. I never had to use almost any of them though, because the enemies don't critical you. Actually, most of the enemies, at least on normal, I'm not sure about hard. I'm still working through it, but I've seen pretty much the same trend. Almost none of the enemies have any luck at all, so they can't do any critical attacks to you, and they're also very, very vulnerable to them. So that's that's probably good. I'm still getting rid of the nightmares from Lunatic and Conquest. That's fucking sucked. It was so goddamn bad. I don't want any more of that shit, and I still have to finish Awakenings Lunatic Plus because fuck that game. So I guess overall the difficulty compared to those two broken modes is a lot better, and hard is going relatively well. I'm finishing up Celica's first half right now, and it's going fine. I haven't had to grind or anything, and I'm sure it's gonna get harder because the game gets harder as it goes on. Big surprise, but where was I going with this? But the game feels like it was. It's the difficulty is spread out very, very well, except for maybe the later half, like the final chapter or the final map, and like the one preceding it actually does have a very, very big difficulty spike, which is unusual, I suppose, because the rest of the game was easy. And then those two chapters came, and I was not getting steamrolled, but it took me a good 2 or 3 restarts to actually finish them off because, well, I guess part of the issue was, at least for me, because the game was going so smoothly, I actually didn't even get into the promote classes, which is something very, very viable in this game because you just don't need them, and it's almost funny. I say that, but there's like DLC for advanced like overclasses, which is just stupid. And I guess while I'm on this topic, I really don't like the DLC for this game. It feels like huge, like it's just a waste. Pretty much, I don't like how they handle the DLC in this game, so I'm not going to buy any of it except for like the free ones they give you, because I just feel like management fucked up somewhere. Like I don't feel. I'm pretty sure Intelligent Systems didn't put the DLC in like normally. I think it was like cut from the game, and I just don't fucking like that. So yeah, that's a thing. It just feels like really bad practice. So at least for my like not series, but at least for my copy, I'm not going to bother with it. It's fine. You really don't need any of it at all, especially with the relative ease of the game is. And actually, I've heard it's a little bit easier than the original Gaiden, but it's kind of hard to check things like that because, in case you're unaware, Valentia's remake of Gaiden, which came out all the way back in like 1992, Japan exclusively for the NES, and obviously no one's fucking played it in the US because no one has it. Even though there's a fan translation somewhere on an emulator, but yeah, I can't fact check these things. I can't play the fucking game, and not that I would anyway, but it's just, I don't know. It's not important to me. Either way, the game's relatively good, which is weird because sales-wise, I've heard the game's actually doing subpar. It's not selling as many copies as they should be, or at least they expected, which is weird because Fates and Awakening, which revived the series pretty much, sold really well. And I don't know if it was just because it's a remake and remakes always sell less and then drop in price really fast, or because people just didn't know about the game, I suppose, that this didn't sell very well. Even in Japan, I know it didn't do very good, which is weird considering it's a hallmark of the series. It's one of the very original games. And actually, the nice thing about that is we get more backstory we're getting more backstory on the Fire Emblem universe, because up to this point we've had like snippets, but this one actually kind of delves a little deeper into it. Not much. Kind of. Like, I finally know what the hell the Falcon is. Or Falchion, whatever the hell the name actually is. Kind of. Not really. It's still confusing as fuck. And there's still world building elements I'm just not getting, I suppose, but whatever. I suppose I should talk about the story then, huh? Yeah, so this is where I'm pretty conflicted. You see, Shadows of Valentia's story, plot-wise, is kind of mediocre. I say kind of because it's split down the middle. Like, there's two paths in the game, kind of similar to, if anyone played the GBA games, let me get this right, Sacred Stones, where you had Ephraim and Erica. There was one path you could go down, which was her route or his route, and you would just go down them, and then you'd end up at the end of the story. Versus this game, which is similar to that, except you'll be kind of switching back and forth, and you have, like, especially in the end game, you have freedom to switch freely until you get to, like, the very final section. And it feels good. I thought it would be kind of annoying, but it's well put together. I actually like it. But it's a nice feature. It's something we haven't seen in the series at all to this date, along with dungeon crawling, actually, kind of. But it's different, I suppose, is what I was getting at. Anyway, the weird thing is, because there's because there's, like, it's split down the middle, you see, I really like Alm's route. His, like, everything behind it's good, it's understandable, he has a good kind of, like, not series finale, but, like, arc ending, and it actually is a little dark, especially, like, it takes a really dark turn near the end of it, even though most of the game is pretty lighthearted and comical, almost, especially Celica's route, which is the bad half. It's just so bad at points. Here's the issue. In Alm's route, a lot of the enemies are written kind of realistically. They're fighting over nobility and stupid things and just the general war and the premises that come with it. Versus Celica's route, which is, let's go kill dragons, let's go kill pirates, and then near the end, oh my god, the dude whose skin is fucking purple is evil. Like, what a surprise. And it's like, and all the villains in hers are, like, these comically bad things. Stupid. Just like, oh, I'm gonna catch you, and then she kills them, and then they move on to the next guy who says the same fucking thing. It's stupid. And it's weird, because, like, Alms is put together well. And then it's like they had a separate writer for Celica's route, which was just like, do whatever you want, man. It doesn't fucking matter, because you don't have to try, because the other half of the game's already written. We only have 2 hours to do this. It's frustrating, because it could have been better, but on top of this, like, weird kind of split, which I'm sure was at least partially in the original game, because I know they added some story elements, I'm just not sure really what, because, again, didn't play it. The game is older than me. It's from 1992, so these kind of comical and stereotype characters would have been made that way to be, like, digestible and understandable and to be not confusing, which is fine. It was a different time. There was different literary things out of the time, so it's just I'm more forgiving with it, I suppose, which is weird. But that doesn't really change what the game actually is. I say that, but then I also have to critique what actually is here. So I'm kind of split on that. Like, how good the story is, and I don't know where I fall exactly. But the gameplay is another issue, like, that I'm just having with Valentia, where I like it, but I hate it. So the combat's been simplified quite a bit, with more of an emphasis on offense, I suppose. Like, there's not a lot of defensive chapters, where you have a fort and you have to just kind of guard it. Not that Fire Emblem's ever really taken a big, like, strong route on that, but there's, like, even fewer in this game where most of the maps are rush the enemy down while they spam you with units, and it's kind of, like, it's trying to be faithful, I get that, but it doesn't change how bad, like, it feels sometimes when there's just, like, there's one caster summoning 8 enemies per turn, and they're just running at you from halfway across the map, and it's just like, this is fucking stupid. As you just get bulk worked with, like, with just stupid things. I don't know. It's annoying. It's another thing where it's an old game, I get that, yes, but this still fucking sucks. Like, it's not. Some of the chapters are really unenjoyable because they just do the same fucking tactic over and over again, and then you finally get to the boss, and you kill him in, like, 2 turns because he's weak compared to what he's been summoning, and it's just like, okay, this is fucking dumb. And it's kind of annoying. And, like, what else is there? The overall, like, how stats are distributed is, like, much simpler than what we've seen in the last few games, where magic and attack, or magic and offense is split, kind of. It's like the old Pokemon games, actually, but it's split where there's an attack stat, which counts for both magic and physical attack, but there's resistance and there's defense, and then speed is really, really broken in this game. You can't triple attack or anything, but now you only need a 1 speed difference to double someone, which is really, really powerful. Insanely so, because your fast units will easily be your best units, and there's pretty much no exception. There's no slow units except for archers, which are good. Actually, that's an important thing. Archers are finally, like, a real class, which is really good. It's fulfilling because we haven't had a good archer class pretty much ever. They're actually useful. They actually have proper range. They're actually fucking functional, which is really, really nice. Even though I'm not a huge fan of I don't like how they have 1-tile attacks, but the class actually works, and it's amazing. I don't know why they haven't been doing this. It's really frustrating, actually. And then knights have proper movement, like, advantage over everyone else, which feels right, because there's a horse. And yeah, it feels like the classes are better put together, which is the weird thing, and the animations for every class is beautiful. Like, the game looks really good. It looks amazing, but the gameplay at its core is just kind of flawed. It feels a lot more simplistic, and which it is, because this is one of the first few games in the series. I'm not sure which one, actually, but it's one of the first, so they didn't have everything nailed down yet. You can only forgive so much, I suppose. So I'm divided. I like a lot of things in the game. It does a lot of things right. Like, the music is beautiful. The game looks amazing. It's just the gameplay can be kind of flawed at times, and compared to the rest of the series, it's kind of easy. So there's not much of that Fire Emblem challenge you're seeing. So yeah, I don't know. I like the game. I think it's a good place to start if you've never played Fire Emblem, like, before, and you're just looking to kind of get into the series. Just don't bother with the DLC, I suppose, because it's not worth a damn. And I don't know, the thing is, there's no stupid waifu emblem or, well, okay, actually, CGs are finally back, and, like, 2 of them are just, like, women in cages, which is kind of fucking stupid. It's funny. Okay, that came out really wrong. But yeah, the game's, like, it feels good to finally be back to, like, an original Fire Emblem and not these stupid, because I really hate some of them. Like, I like Awakening, actually, which is kind of a dissenting opinion, but Fire Emblem Fates makes me want to cry. Like, I hate so much about it. I hate Corrin. I hate the map design. It looks good, but it's frustrating as fuck. Especially the hard modes are just stupid at points. Like, the end game for those on Lunatic is disgusting. It's not even fun. Because it doesn't feel finished. It feels like they were still, like, it's a fever dream of nonsense, and it's annoying. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway, the game's kind of good. If you're looking for something just, like, you've never played Fire Emblem before, you're a big-time fan, this would be a good game to pick up. But if you're more kind of like a grizzled veteran and you really don't care much about the game already, I can't recommend getting it, because it's not going to give you a challenge. The story's meh. It looks good, but it's just kind of missing that. It feels different, I suppose, is the best way to put it. So, I don't know. Take that what you will. Anyway, thanks for listening. I haven't done one of these in a while, so this was kind of nice. Definitely therapeutic. Hoping to get more videos and talks and whatever out in the future. And sorry I couldn't get any footage over, because I just have no way of recording the game. Like, Nintendo nonsense on YouTube aside, I just have no way of recording it. So yeah, that's. Thanks for understanding. I don't know what to tell you. Adios.